Long ago, in the valley of Elah, two armies stood facing each other, the mighty Philistines on one hill and the army of Israel on the other. Every morning, the ground trembled as the Philistines' greatest warrior stepped forward, Goliath of Gath, a giant more than 9 feet tall. His armor gleamed like the morning sun, and his spear was as thick as a weaver's beam. "Why bother to fight?" Goliath roared across the valley, his voice echoing through the hills. "Choose one man to fight me. If he wins, we will serve you. But if I win, you will serve us." The Israelites trembled in fear. Even the brave King Saul dared not face him. Day after day, Goliath mocked them, and no one moved. But miles away, a young shepherd named David tended his father's sheep in Bethlehem. He was small, but his heart was fierce. David loved God and often sang songs to him beneath the stars. One morning, his father Jesse called him. "David, take these roasted grains and bread to your brothers at the battlefield. See how they are doing." David obeyed at once. He packed the food and hurried to the camp, not knowing that his obedience would lead him face to face with a giant. When David arrived, the soldiers were talking about Goliath. "Have you seen that man? He's terrifying. King Saul says whoever kills him will be greatly rewarded." David's eyes narrowed with holy anger. "Who is this Philistine," he said softly, "that he dares to mock the armies of the living God?" The wind carried his words far across the camp, the first whisper of courage Israel had heard in days.
Word spread quickly. "Someone is asking about Goliath," the soldiers murmured. David was soon brought before King Saul himself. The young shepherd bowed respectfully. "Your Majesty, I will fight this Philistine." The tent fell silent. "You?" Saul asked, studying the boy. "You are only a youth. He has been a warrior since his youth." But David lifted his chin. "When I kept my father's sheep," he said, "a lion came and took a lamb from the flock. I struck it down and rescued the lamb. Another time a bear came, and I caught it by the beard and killed it too. The same God who saved me from the paw of the lion and the bear will save me from this Philistine." Saul stared, moved by the fire in David's eyes. "Go," he said softly, "and may the Lord be with you." Saul gave David his own armor, a bronze helmet and a coat of mail. But when David tried to walk, he stumbled. "I cannot wear these," he said, smiling. "I'm not used to them." He removed the heavy armor, took only his shepherd's staff, his sling, and 5 smooth stones from a nearby stream. As David stepped out toward the valley, the sun caught his face. Young, brave, full of faith. The soldiers watched in silence as the shepherd boy walked toward the giant who had terrified them for 40 days. The ground shook as Goliath marched forward, his armor clanging with every step. When he saw David, he burst into laughter. "Am I a dog that you come to me with sticks?" he mocked. "Come closer, boy. I'll feed your flesh to the birds." But David stood firm, his sling in hand, his heart steady. "You come against me with sword and spear," he said, "but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, whom you have defied." Then, without hesitation, David ran toward the giant. The soldiers gasped. Dust rose from his sandals as he reached into his bag, drew a smooth stone, and placed it in his sling. With a swift motion, he swung it around, once, twice, 3 times, and released. The stone flew like lightning through the air and struck Goliath squarely on the forehead. The giant froze, his eyes widened. Then he fell, face first to the ground with a thunderous crash. The valley echoed with silence. For a moment, time itself seemed to stand still. The Philistines' laughter turned to terror. Their greatest warrior, defeated by a shepherd boy. David ran forward, stood over Goliath, and took the giant's own sword. With one swift motion, he ended the battle. Then he lifted the sword high for all to see. The Israelites erupted in cheers that shook the valley. "The Lord has given us victory," they cried. The Philistines turned and fled, their courage gone. The Israelites pursued them all the way to the gates of Ekron. When the dust settled, David stood quietly beside Goliath's fallen body. He looked up at the sky and whispered, "The battle is the Lord's." In that moment, the shepherd became a hero. But more than that, he became a living testimony that no enemy is too great when God fights for his people. King Saul watched from afar, astonished. He called for the young warrior. "Whose son are you, young man?" David bowed. "I am the son of your servant Jesse of Bethlehem." Saul smiled, his heart filled with admiration and wonder. From that day forward, David's name spread through all Israel. Mothers told their children the story of the boy who faced a giant with faith instead of fear. But little did anyone know, this shepherd boy would one day wear a crown. He would become Israel's greatest king, and through his line, the Savior of the world would come. So remember this truth. When life's giants stand before you, towering and proud, your victory is not in your size, your strength, or your weapon. It is in your faith in the living God. For the battle is the Lord's.